皆さん、英語のそーたです。
And I'm Reilly.
Hey Reilly, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're recording in the morning today.
Yes. Good news. After releasing the last episode, a few people already, texted me, gave me some comments saying, "Oh, I want to attend the event this year too," which means those people attended our event last year too.
Yeah, that's good. Exciting.
Yeah. But I'm still wondering about the best plan because the last year's plan was we're back tour and maybe this year we can't be back.
We're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still wondering, but yeah, we're all excited. Oh, do you have any?
So we need to think about that a little bit, but hopefully we can get information out to everybody soon.
Yeah, I want to announce at least 1 month ahead if possible. So yeah, everyone please wait. はい、皆さんおはようございます。こんにちは、こんばんは。今日は朝に収録をしているので、最近夜が多かったんですけどね。ちょっと朝モードなんですけど、先日、前回のイベントしたのごめんなさい。前回のエピソードで、イベントについて、今年もやりたいと思ってるんですっていうことだけはちらっとお話ししたんですけど、もうインスタの方でコメントをね、結構くださった方もいらっしゃって、仙台も来てください。福岡も行きます。東京いつですかって。そう、皆さんくださってすごい嬉しかったです。去年来てくださった方がまた今年も来たいと思ってくださってるんだと思って嬉しかったので、そう、もう去年は We Are Back ツアーで、今年また We Are Back はできないじゃないですか。また戻ってきたんかこいつらみたいな。何年連続で We Are Back するんだみたいになっちゃうと思うので、そう、いいトピックなんかないかなってまだ考えてるんですよね。あと会場もちょっと探さないといけなかったり、今ちょっといっぱいいっぱいなので、すぐには発表できないんですけど、決まり次第、なるべく1ヶ月前ぐらいには、ね、各地域の1ヶ月前には発表できるように頑張りたいなと思ってますので、ちょっとその点だけ、そう、楽しみにしてくださってる方にお知らせしておきたいなと思いました。もう終わっちゃったんですか申し込みっていうコメントも来てたので、いや、終わってないですっていうところも含め、ちょっとお知らせでした。あとはもう10月ですね。もう今年も残り3ヶ月ですけど、ちょっと全力でまた頑張っていきたいなと思います。So, Reilly, are you ready?
Yep.
そうたと
Reilly の台本なし英会話レッスンEpisode 288.
Okay, Reilly, what is the topic for episode 288?
It's personal responsibility.
はい、今回のお題は自己責任です。今回リクエストはいただいてないんですけれども、ちょっと僕の方でこのトピック話したいなと思ったんですね。で、そのきっかけが実は前回のエピソードだったんですね。で、いつもズームで40分という縛りがある中で、僕たち収録をするんですね。で、40分過ぎそうってなったら、もう一個40分別のルームを作ってみたいな感じでいつも収録して、で、全部収録が終わったら、後ろの方で、僕たちのリアルな会話、プライベートの会話をしてるんですよね、ズームの中で。そう、来週収録だよね、とか、結婚おめでとうとか、なんかそういうお話をするんですけど、ちょうどその会話の中でライリーが、今回のエピソードって、ちょっとアメリカが悪く見えないみたいなお話があったんですよ。で、僕が、いや、そんな風に見えないと思うよ。僕はこうだと思ったから、みたいなお話をちょうどしてるところがあって、その会話の中でふと、自己責任っていうのがアメリカにはあるから、財布を落として帰ってこないのは普通っていうような会話が出てきたんですよね。で、そこから、このトピックにすると面白いかもと思ったので、一旦、その、前回のエピソードのその会話をしているところを今からおかけします。そこの部分だけ取っておいたんですよ。なので、ちょっと今はまずはそこを聞いていただきたいなと思います。Yeah, so in English, let me explain that too. In the last episode, after recording, we had a conversation about, everything like, what would be the next topic to record or how was this episode? Oh, I enjoyed this a lot. We had that kind of conversation as usual. And then, yeah, Riley said, oh, about this episode, lost the stuff about the last episode. I don't think this episode doesn't give some good impression about America. And also he said, because in America, there is personal responsibility. So if somebody loses something, that's the person's responsibility. And when I heard his comment, oh, this could be another topic to discuss. So yeah, first let me play that part. I didn't, delete that part. So please listen to the part. Then we'll come back and we'll have another conversation. So
Hmm.
please listen. I hope everyone can also enjoy this one. I enjoy this a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it makes America look really bad, I think.
Uh, for some Americans, they don't feel good.
I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't feel that good because it's like, yeah, it's not good about America. And it's true,
Mm,
I didn't lie or anything, but it's
mm,
just, it's interesting because I think people see it differently in America. I didn't want to get into this kind of like maybe detail in the episode, but it's like, eh, there's kind of this feeling, maybe a little bit more of like personal responsibility for your stuff.
mm,
Like, it's a little bit like if you lost your stuff, that's
mm,
kind of your fault.
mm,
And so other people don't owe it to you to return your stuff.
mm,
You lost it.
mm,
So there's kind of something there where it's not exactly the same feeling that people have
mm,
about it. Like, you know, if you lost something and someone has to bring it to the police, that means that you made a
mm,
mistake and you inconvenienced somebody else.
mm.
So like that person should not be like if that person doesn't give it to the police, it doesn't really mean they're stealing. It just means that they don't want to do, kind of do this extra thing for you.
Mm.
I'm not saying that's right, but I think that's how a lot of Americans see it too.
Mm. Yeah, then in that way, I guess, there are a lot of types of kindness. And in Japan, about this kindness, people are kind of nice, I guess. And people are kind of caring.
Hmm.
So, that's the difference, I guess. And of course, in America too, there's another type of kindness that doesn't exist in Japan. But about this returning or not stealing, yeah, returning stuff. Yeah, about this, as this person who gave us this request also said, yeah, she said just polite, but yeah, we're kind of nice in that way in this field. Mm. And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
yeah. I don't think this episode, didn't gave everyone some bad impression about America because I added some information about my understanding related to returning stuff. And then for them, it's not about stealing, I said.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I know
mm,
you said that, but I mean, it still makes America look pretty bad. And that's okay. Like, because I think,
mm,
it is kind of a bad part about America that, like,
mm,
there's not this kind of system where people trust each other in
mm,
this way. Like,
mm,
mostly it comes down to people just don't trust each other. I don't trust you to give me back my stuff. And yeah, you don't trust me to go get it if I lose it or whatever. But,
mm, mm.
um, anyway, yeah.
For me, by recording this episode, I changed my impression about America in a good way because I thought people were kind of stealing, but actually, yeah, by having this conversation, I noticed that oh, they're not kind of stealing. They just feel that's okay, and then that's normal. So it's not about stealing or it's not about a crime thing. It's just take it, I felt. So in this way, I got a good impression or I changed my impression about America. So
Yeah. Okay.
for some people, yeah, they understand in that way, just like me, I guess. Hmm. But yeah, it was a kind of interesting discussion.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Then thank you. ありが
Yep.
とう。夜遅くまで。
Oh, Next week. So we have one more. Oh no, next week is solo?
No, solo, bilingual.
Oh, next week is bilingual. Next week
Mhm.
is okay. Week after that is solo. So that's the week that I will be off. But yeah, I can do solo whenever. So it should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
はい、お聞きいただけましたか？ちょっとこう、英語がわからなかった方のために軽く説明すると、いや、アメリカちょっと悪い印象にならないっていうところで、僕が、いや、そうは思わないよって、僕はむしろこの収録終わった後に、アメリカで財布が戻ってこないっていうのは、取ってる、スティーリングっていう感覚ではなくて、あったっていう、お金ゲットっていう、何にもなんか盗む感覚ないんだろうなって思ったので、むしろ、悪い印象だった、その財布に関してね、財布が返ってこないっていう点に関しては悪い印象だったのが、全然悪気がないんだなっていう点でいい印象に僕は変わったよと。プラス、一番のポイントである、アメリカでは自己責任だから、自分がなくしたものが誰かがやってくれる、戻してくれるっていう、そこの感覚はないからこそ、そういうシステムがあるんだっていう、概略の内容でしたので、ちょっとこれを踏まえた上で、今日のお話に入っていきたいなと思います。Okay, so first of all, yeah, can you explain the comment you made in the last episode after recording? So can you add more information about, yeah,
So
personal responsibility? Okay.
I think like in Japan, right? If you find, a wallet or even just money, just like if you find 10,000 yen, a 10,000 yen bill on the ground, it's kind of your responsibility, your duty to bring that to a police box, a koban or something, and say, hey, I found this in this place, blah, blah, blah. And then hopefully they can find that person, or that person will go to the police and say, hey, I lost my money or my wallet. And as the person who found it, it's kind of your job to go bring it somewhere, to try to return it. But in America, I feel like, obviously it is nice if you try to return it, but there's not the same feeling that it's your job to do that. Like it's a little bit extra. It's like a bonus. You're being extra nice or an extra good citizen or whatever if you return that thing. It's kind of, as I said in the episode, kind of normal to, especially if it's just money, to just kind of take it and say, oh, somebody lost this, now it's mine. And it's not really stealing because that person lost it. So that's kind of their fault. Maybe I'm not explaining this very well, but yeah, the kind of the responsibility doesn't exactly lie on the person who found it. It's more like a shared responsibility of the person who lost something to, keep track of their own stuff. And then if the person who finds it is extra nice, they can try to return it. But it's not that strong of a responsibility to return it, if that makes sense.
And yeah, first, in this way, don't you think, we Japanese are really nice because we are always doing some extra things for others?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, of course, yeah, I think it's nice, but I also think that, there's a difference in the kind of rules, right? I don't I don't know if I would say that Japanese people are nicer than American people, on average or whatever. But I think there is a kind of rule or system in place where, if you find something on the ground, you should return it to the police box. That's kind of your responsibility. Whereas in America, that just kind of that system, that rule is not in place.
And yeah, and as I added to your comment at the end of the last episode, yeah, I also believe there is, a lot of types of kindness, many types of kindness. And then, of course, Americans are nicer than Japanese in another field. And about this case, I think Japanese are really nice. And I'm not comparing, but yeah, I think Japanese are nice. And because this, returning thing doesn't come from rule stuff, I think. We always feel, oh, maybe somebody is feeling anxious about this wallet or a credit card or something. So we should give those things to those people who lost, these items. I don't know why, we somehow always have that kind of feelings. So another example is, the other day, a few days ago, I left my umbrella, I left my, at a restaurant in a big department store. And after leaving the store, in a few minutes, there was an announcement, like a big announcement. お客様にお呼び出しを申し上げます. Have you ever heard that? In the department. And I was called. That was so embarrassing. But then I got the umbrella back. Then I posted on Instagram. Then one person said, now I'm in the UK and my friend lost a wallet, a cell phone or something, iPhone or something. And then she called soon, but, nobody was trying to help her. And then the bad staff everyone said, no, that's your responsibility. And then, we don't have that kind of wallet. So when I saw the comment too, we Japanese always try to give things back to original people. So I think we are in this way kind of nice or nicer.
Or the whatever the rules of the society place a lot of pressure, place a lot of importance on that kind of thing. I think in America it's maybe almost like kind of making a donation, if that makes sense. So like, donating to charity or something is like a nice thing to do. You should do it if you can, but you don't have really the responsibility to do it. I think you would agree with that, right? Like in Japan. In America, for the most part, that's true. I think there are maybe some groups, like some religions, where it's more important to donate and to give to charity and stuff. But anyway, for most people, it's kind of just an extra nice thing to do, And I think maybe returning lost items, again, if it's on the street, if it's hard to find the person, blah, 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 that is kind of like donating. It's like a little bit extra. You should do it if you can, but if you can't, it's not a big deal. Or if you don't want to, maybe, if you don't want to donate to people, even though you could, that's not very good, but people aren't going to maybe get mad at you about it. That makes sense.
In this way, sometimes in Japan, it works negatively. For example, doing some extra work at work, like doing overtime work. Or, maybe it's because of social pressure or peer pressure. But we tend to do some extra things for others. And sometimes it's because of some pressure. But sometimes, truly, it comes from our kindness or, imagining, how the person who lost this is feeling right now. So, the first thing I thought is kind of, different type of kindness or, different understanding about returning, about this topic. But, should I translate first? Now?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yes. Personal responsibility, あとは good job, あとは extra, あと lie, どこどこにあるっていう lie ですかね。一旦ちょっと訳したいんですけど、そう、どこから始まってましたっけ？そう、ライリーに、まずは話してもらってたのが、物をなくしたならば自己責任であると。で、その responsibility が lie っていう、この lie っていうのは嘘をつくじゃなくて、この人の上にある。lie ってね、位置するとか、そこにあるっていうイメージもあるので、意味もあるので、今回の後で振り返った時に皆さん聞いてみてください。responsibility がここにあるっていう時に lie が出てましたね。なので、your fault。これもタイピングとしていいと思うんですけど、そう、見つけた人が返さなきゃいけないっていう、返さなきゃいけないっていうところに責任があるのではなくて、なくした人のところに責任があると。なので、物を 元の人に戻すっていう習慣っていうのは、日本ではいわばルールだからこそこうやっているけれども、アメリカとかではいわばドネーションのようなものだと、こやったらそりゃいいけれども、絶対やらなきゃいけないっていう感覚ではないっていう。ここが、なんかもう、感覚から違うんだろうなと思ったんですよね。プラス、それがなんか、いい悪いとかじゃなく、でも僕は、この日本の、それでもエクストラなことをしてでも返してあげようって思う気持ちがあるのは、僕はこれはいいことだと思うんですよね。それがすごいことだと思って、あとは、世界とかにももっとこう伝わればいいのになっていう、誰かが捨てたものをこうね、拾って、こう、ゴミ箱に捨てる時もあれば、なんかいろんなところで人のためにやってあげようっていう思いは、比較的あると思うんですよね。っていうお話をしてたときに、日本人がそのアメリカ人よりナイスかどうかとかそこまではわかんないけどっていう、そうそう、なので比較してるわけじゃないんですよね。やっぱり日本人がなんでここをもっと優しくしてあげないの？アメリカ人とかだともっとこういうところをパンって助けてあげるよねとかっていう時のやっぱ違いの優しさとかもあるじゃないですか。なので、一個前のエピソードのお話、さっきかけた時に聞いていただいたと思うんですけど、僕も言ってたのが、いろんな形の優しさがあると思うんだよね、と。日本は日本なりの優しさ、アメリカはアメリカなりの優しさがあって、ここ一個、返してあげるっていうところは、僕は日本の優しさの形なんだと思うんだよっていうお話をしてたように、ここに関しては日本のいいところではあるとは思うんですよね。で、最近インスタにも載せてたんですけど、僕傘をお店に忘れまして、でっかいデパートのところに。そしたら数分後にお客様にお呼び出しを申し上げますって言われて、あの、呼び出されたんです。お伝えしたいことがございますので、サービスカウンターまでお越しください言われて行ったら、傘忘れとって。で、それを SNS に載せたら、日本ってそういう何とかしてでも持ち主に返してあげようっていう思いがやっぱ強いですよねと。私は今、海外にいるんですけど、その場合イギリスでしたけど、ちょっと前になくした財布もう取りに行ったらないとか。Oh, another example, one person, gave me a comment saying in Egypt or somewhere,
Yeah.
somebody, stole a wallet, suitcase or something.
Uh-huh.
What was that? Bass tour or something. Then she said, "Oh, I just now lost my wallet." And then she was suspicious and she knew the bus driver or the bus attendant, either of them took it. But
Yeah.
they never try to return the wallet to the
Yeah.
person, she said.
Yeah.
In Japan, it never happens, I think.
Yeah.
It's another thing.
Yeah, that's just stealing, right? That's not really like, oh, I don't want to return it. That's just stealing. Like I think
Mm.
that happened to Yuki actually too on a bus in America.
Really? Mm.
So yeah, well, in America we don't really have trains or we don't have very good trains. So a lot of times if you want to go between cities and you don't have a car, you'll take these, basically highway buses. Of course you have them in Japan too.
Mm.
But often highway buses in the US are um the kind of people that take them are people that don't have cars, maybe people that don't have as much money and stuff like that.
Mm.
So they can sometimes be a little bit, I don't want to say scary, but sometimes. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail, but Yuki and I were going on this bus, and there were a lot of people on this bus. Maybe some of them were homeless or something. I don't know. But at some point in the bus ride, it's like a 3 hour long bus ride. Yuki dropped her phone under the seat,
Hmm.
right? And so of course we tried to look under the seat, but we couldn't see it. And so we were kind of waiting for someone behind us because it went like behind our
Hmm.
seats,
Hmm.
someone behind us to say, "Oh, hey, did anybody drop their phone?" or something like that. But nobody said anything.
Hmm.
So at some point, like during the break, I got up and looked around, tried to look under some of the seats, but I couldn't see the phone anywhere. So then we went at the end of the bus ride, I went up to the bus driver and I said, "Hey, my girlfriend lost her phone. Did anybody give it back?" And he said, "Oh no, I haven't heard anything about it." And so that was it. So what I think happened is she dropped her phone, it went under the seat, and someone just right away picked it up and took it. Like, which I think, because they were no more than, 1 or 2 meters away from us, whoever took the phone, like they could probably see us. And yeah, that would obviously almost never happen in Japan, right? People drop their phone in Japan on the bus or on a train or something. Immediately, the person behind them goes, "Oh, hey, here you go. You dropped your phone or whatever." It would be. And I think in America, of course, that would happen most of the time, I hope. But yeah, sometimes it just gets stolen.
Yeah, even on the street, we do. Like, even if, that person hasn't noticed yet, we say, hey, you dropped this. So, yeah.
I think, I think in America, almost all the time that would happen. If someone drops something on the street, of course, if you can see them, like if you see them drop it, of course you go, hey, you dropped this. But, there are some people, not very good people who would just steal it.
Yeah, sometimes, about traveling tips, we all Japanese people know that we have to be really careful of our phones, wherever we go. For example, I heard like standing on the street waiting for the traffic light to change. Then somebody from the bus took it, or that kind of dangerous thing happens in the world, but that never happens in Japan. So I think this is another story. This is not about returning or something.
Yeah, that's more just about crime, right?
Yeah, or it's about stealing. Yeah.
But anyway, that just to go off what you were talking about. But what we were talking about, do you want to translate first?
But yeah, about this kind of, stealing stuff, cell phone get stolen. It's, I don't want to hope it's common, but it happens a lot. Let's say in America, like
I mean, more than in Japan, I would say, yeah, but I don't know about a lot,
Okay. なるほどね。そっか。そうそう。その携帯を取られるとかっていう話も、どっかで僕したいなと思ってたので、今このお話をね、たまたま流れから出たので話してたんですけど、そう、さっき訳してる時にふと思い出したのが、そうだ、インスタで他でもコメント来たのがっていうのが、どなたかがどっかエジプトかどっかの国、ヨーロッパだったかも、どっか国行った時に、バスで携帯を落としたと。すぐ戻って、落としちゃってって言ったんだけれども、もう絶対そのバスドライバーか、そのバスのアテンダントさん、バスツアーのアテンダントさんが取ってるのはもう明白だけれども、知らないって言って取られたらしいんですよね。そういうのって絶対日本でないじゃないですか。これ、なんでしょうね。もう外国人には、いや、ソーシャルプレッシャーがあるからだよとか、ルールがあるからそうするんでしょとか、ナイスな気持ちからやってないんでしょとかって言われちゃうかもですけど、これ僕たちにしかわかんない感覚だと思うんですけど、僕たちここはナイスだと思うんですよ。そもそもそんな取るみたいなそんな勇気ないし、返してあげようっていう思いめっちゃ強いし、そこが僕思い出して、いや、多分日本人これ本当にナイスでやってるよって、でもこれはちょっとなかなか外国人の感覚には伝わらない部分もトピックによってあるんだろうなと思ってたんですけど、で、その時にラリーが言ってくれたのが、アメリカの、経験談で、バスで、ユキさんが、奥さんですよね、今は。ポンって携帯落としたんですって。で、バス動いてるから、どこだろうと思って見えなくて、止まった時に、ブレイクって言ってましたよね。休憩ってバスが止まった時、こういう風にもまた使いますよね。止まった時に、バスじゃなくて、携帯どこって言ったら、もうなくて、つまり誰かに取られてたっていう、で、返してくれないと。でも日本だったら、落としたよってすぐ絶対渡してくれるよねっていう、で、それ道であったとしてもそうだよというお話をしてました。でも、アメリカでも、普通はなるべく、日本よりは少ないかもだけど、多いケースとしては、落としたよってしてくれるのが、よくあるケースであるのは誤解しないでほしいと。ただやっぱり日本に比べると、取られてしまったりとか、帰ってこなかったりっていうのは確かに多いよねっていう。だから僕たち海外行くとき、携帯は注意しなきゃみたいなね、思いってありますもんね。 And yeah, one more thing to add. Sometimes I feel, um, Japanese attitude or feelings or behaviors of not, um, not being super careful is kind of good thing sometimes. That's why we often, sometimes people tell us you should be more, you should feel it's dangerous. Or, for example, we often leave computers or wallets while going to the bathroom or something. But sometimes I feel that's really nice because it's a safe country. That's why we can do it. But with that feeling, we shouldn't go abroad because sometimes our belongings could get stolen. But yeah, my point is sometimes, our, how can I explain this feeling? Our slow and non skeptical or not trusting people, that kind of feelings, our feelings could be sometimes nice, I feel.
Yeah, of course it's nice. Of course it's nice to live in a place where you could, sorry, that your stuff won't be stolen if you go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah. そうそう、なんか、そう、僕はたまにね、こういう日本人の、ちょっと日本語でもいい言葉が出てこないんですけど、こう、人を疑ってないってさっき言いましたけど、Oh, I said not trusting, not trusting. 違う、not trusting じゃなくて、not, doubting. No doubting. そう、人を疑っ、さっきトラスティングって言っちゃいました。人を信じてないって言っちゃったけど、言い間違いです。そう、疑ってない、なんかこう、安全な国だからこそできる、この平和ボケみたいな。In Japanese, we often say, Japanese people are kind of peaceful, mind. Sometimes it's too much. そう、平和ボケって言うじゃないですか。なので危機感がないっていう。もちろんこれが海外に行ったらダメなんですけれども、その日本でこういう感覚で生きれてるのって僕はいいとこだなと思うんですよね。人を疑ってなくて人生を終えるわけじゃないですか。それってなんかいいとこだなとも、今のこのね、お話では思いました。Okay, so let's go back to the original topic, personal responsibility. So can you come up with another situation where you feel it's people's responsibility, personal responsibility or something?
A situation. I mean, it's kind of about everything. I don't know. There's like, well, this is bad too, and I hate to keep talking stuff that are bad examples, but recently there was this hurricane in America that did a lot of damage to some places in the mountains where you wouldn't expect a hurricane to have a big effect, but because it rained a lot, it caused flooding and stuff like that. And even during this, horrible rain, hurricane, flooding, all this, people were still expected to go to work. There's video of people driving on the highway, and the highway is like underwater. And they're trying to drive and stuff. And that's not a good thing, I think. But there is this sense, people have it, and maybe bosses also expect it from people, where it's like, well, you have to do it anyway. Like, it's your responsibility to take care of yourself. So even if it's rainy outside, or more than rainy, you still have to go to work because it's your responsibility or something. I don't know. Maybe that's not a great example, but yeah, there's this kind of sense that like other people don't need to take care of you, shouldn't have to take care of you. You should be able to take care of yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that could be related to, independence too. So after
Right.
graduating from high school, people start living alone. That's also kind of related to personal responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
In this case, about parents. Yeah.
Sure. And I think there's maybe more responsibility even before you live alone, because, in most places in America, you can drive when you're 16. So, you have a car. Most people, their third and fourth year of high school, maybe not most, many people drive to school. And then they're pretty free to kind of drive around. They have a lot of freedom from 16 to 18 or whatever. And I think that's, yeah, partially personal responsibility and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, speaking of cars, I think a lot of this comes from cars that most people in the US, I don't know, 90% of people, when they go somewhere, it's by car. Like if you don't have a car, it's pretty bad for you. Like I talked about having to go on the bus if you have a car, but it's considered, like almost a necessary thing to have a car in the US. Not almost, it is. And I think that is part of kind of personal responsibility too. You can't rely on the bus or a train or something to get you somewhere. You have to be able to do it yourself. And people often talk about this. People who are pro train will say, oh, America needs more trains or something like that. And people will say, no, I don't want to take the train. I don't want to go by somebody else's schedule. I want to be able to do it myself, with my car. So people are kind of like protective of this feeling of their own personal freedom, I guess. It's individualism, whatever.
Yeah, I love this personal responsibility because sometimes in Japan, we talked about oji-san, so not only about oji-san, but yeah, sometimes they're screaming, saying, I lost something here, but why didn't you, take it? Or it's not only about older men. I think everybody in Japan kind of feel if the store or if somebody hasn't taken or kept it yet, or if they haven't done it, maybe a lot of Japanese tend to be not mad, but yeah, sometimes wondering why you didn't take it or you were not taking care of it. So yeah, I really understand your point. Sometimes Japanese people rely on somebody else or somebody's help or somebody's support. So in that way, I love, the personal responsibility in America.
Yeah. And if I can talk a little bit about why, I mean, I think it comes from, or at least there's this story in the US that it comes from this kind of frontier mentality. Have you heard this before? This frontier thing where, America's not a very old country. It's only, well, obviously there have been people in the land that is now America for a long, long time, but kind of European people, whatever, the people that called it the USA, it's only like 300 years or 400 years or something like that. But then because they started on the East Coast and then they started moving west, basically, all that was kind of new land to them. Of course, there were people there, Native Americans there, but they would kind of have the freedom to go there and start a home, build a house, start a farm or whatever like that. But they didn't have any support from the government or from other people. So there's this kind of idea that Americans have this individual attitude because of the way America started.
なるほどね。一旦ちょっとここまで訳したいなと思うんですけれども、そう、他の自己責任っていう例あるかっていう質問に対して、まず最初の方に出てたのは、学生の、What was the first example? Personal responsibility.
I think it was people having to go to work even if there's like a typhoon or a hurricane.
そう、ハリケーンや。
Yeah.
そう。ごめんなさい。最近ちょっと戻ってこられへんようになる。そう、ハリケーンが最近あった時に、やっぱ自己責任で職場に来てねっていう、あるいは職場に行くっていう。日本って多分そういうところも、ケアリングだよね、日本ってそういうところ。そう思うわ、僕は。やっぱ台風の時は外に出ないようにしようとかっていう、やっぱ上の人が下の部下にそういうのをちゃんと言わないと、ちゃんとした会社じゃないとかって見なすじゃないですか。でもアメリカでは自己責任で、怪我があったら自己責任で、あとは suing とも関係するかもね。It could be related to suing. 訴訟。 なんか、こう、訴訟されないためにも、もうお互いがこう、なんでしょうね、自己責任だよっていう、アメリカってすぐ何かあったら訴訟になっちゃうケースがあるって言うじゃないですか。なので、そうならないためにも、もう、それぞれが責任持っていこうねっていう感じになってるなっていうふうに、今のこのお話も感じましたかね。なんか日本だと、そこをこう、なんでしょうね、ちゃんとケアしてないといい会社って言われないみたいな訴訟問題云々置いておいて。でも、なんかアメリカとかはそこを自己責任、個人で動こうっていうところが、なんか関係してるの、そこが一つの例として上がってましたよね。今の、訴訟問題は僕の解釈のあれなので、また今度違うところでお話しできたらなと思うんですけど、そう。で、二つ、他の例として僕思ったのは、やっぱりもう一個自己責任の例として、こう、学校を卒業したらもう親元離れて一人暮らしするとかっていう率が高いのも、結構こう自己責任感の表れかなとも思いました。あとはそこから車社会っていう、もう高校生ぐらいから車に乗って自分で、こう、学校に行く。いわばもう自由なルールの中、でもなんかトラブルがあったら自分で責任を負わなきゃいけないっていうところだったり、あとは、最後のお話。What's the last example?
Oh, the history part
フ
about
ロンティアか。
frontier.
そう
Yeah.
そうそう。なんでそういう感覚になってるのかっていう一個の、捉え方としては、やっぱりアメリカは、こう、先住民の人が、こう、何もないところから土地を開拓したからこそ、そう、人に頼れない、自分でこうやらなきゃいけないっていうところから、このインディビジュアル精神は来たっていう捉え方もアメリカではあるみたいですね。そう。で、なんでその話になったかというと、言われてみれば日本って、例えば落とし物しました。ないってなった時に、人によって怒る人もいると思うんですよ。なんでそれを取ってくれへんのとか、なんか言うたら、あるの当たり前と思って、自分が落としたものを、あるの当たり前と思って問い合わせセンターとかに行っちゃいますよね。で、なんか、これ全然結局関係なかったお話なんですけど、僕最近、台湾から来てる友達、留学生の子がいて、その子が、とある、牛丼ショップ、すき家でね、バイトしてるんですけど、松屋や。そうそう。で、全然それ関係ない話なんですけど、おじさんが、こう、松屋で牛丼入ってくるなり、はよ作れ、牛丼遅いねって言って叫ばれて、もうこれがなんか日本で怖くてって言ってやって、また、そう、おじさん、ごめんね、日本のおじさんがそんな思いさせてっていうのが頭にあったので、さっきまたおじさんっていうの言っちゃったんですけど、そう、おじさんは関係なかったです。そう、落とし物の時の例は別に僕全然知らないので、叫んでるってさっき言ったのは、なんかその松屋のお話とこんがらがっちゃって言ってたんですけど、それは関係ないです。そう、でもね、昔のおじさんのエピソードでもお伝えした通り、ちょっと叫ぶのはね、ちょっとやめていただきたいなと思いますので、全人類困ってますので、そこはちょっとお伝えした上で、でもそれとは関係なく、年齢関係なく、性別も関係なく、人によって、なんで落とし物ないのって、なんで取ってくれてないのとか、なんで拾ってくれないのって、他者に責任転嫁しちゃう感覚って多分日本あるじゃないですか。それがいいところでもあるんですけど、拾ってくれるっていう。でもアメリカでは、そう、落とした人が自己責任だよねっていう感覚があるっていうのは、ある意味僕、なんか、正しいなとも思いました。そういう感覚も一個の捉え方だなって思いましたかね。And I think another example could be in America, I heard people can easily get fired compared to Japan. Don't you think this is also related to personal responsibility?
Um, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Uh, why does that
Like,
happen a lot?
why does it happen a
Yeah,
lot?
because
I
in
mean,
Japan, maybe companies can't hire easily because maybe they tend to think they have to take care of their employees. So,
right.
mm,
And I think often, like, if somebody makes a mistake at work in Japan, it's often kind of seen as like, the company's mistake.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not just that person's mistake.
Mm.
Whereas in America, a lot of the time it's just that person's mistake.
Then what happens? For example, if the person made a mistake, then lost $10,000 or something, then
Sure.
who takes care of
Um,
this?
yeah, takes care of it. I don't know. Yeah, they probably get fired.
Mm.
And um Yeah, I don't know. Getting fired is not like it's not common, but maybe I don't know, maybe most people have been fired from a job at some point. Probably most people it was when they were young in
う
like college
ん。
or something. But
うん。
yeah, like I got fired from a job in America because I was a waiter and I was in college and I didn't really have much experience waiting tables and I spilled wine on somebody.
うん。
It was like I had only been there maybe 1 month or something like that.
Then
And
you got fired?
then I got fired. Yeah.
え
I didn't, but it was kind of it was almost firing. So actually with the owner of the restaurant was my uncle. So that's why I got the job because usually you couldn't wait tables at that restaurant if you didn't have like experience. So I was
うん。
lucky.
う
But
ん。
then yeah, so I did training for like a week or 2 weeks or something, and then probably I was only actually doing the job like by myself for maybe 2 weeks, and then I spilled wine on a lady, and she was actually nice. She was very nice. She was not mad at me, I guess, and she even tipped me. But then my uncle was like, "Okay, um, do you think this is a good job for you?" So he wasn't really firing me, but he was kind of like telling me, maybe you should not be doing this.
う
Um,
ん。
so
う
yeah.
ん。You're not actually good at it?
Uh, no, I was not
う
really good at it.
ん。
I mean, it
あ
was like, yeah, it was a hard job actually,
う
but
ん。And yeah, just like yeah, like you said right now, I can guess even if somebody gets fired, they can understand it. They don't say, no, I don't think so, or they don't react like that. They accept.
well, certainly it depends. Like it
Depends.
depends. Yeah, in my situation, I completely understood. I mean, he was kind of doing me, my uncle was doing me a favor by giving me the job, and then I didn't do a very good job. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it completely made sense. And yeah, also at that time, I was a student, I was in school, I had like other jobs too, so I was actually really busy. So he was kind of like, "Oh yeah, maybe this is not the job for you." And I was kind of actually like, "Yeah, you're probably right." So,
Okay. Yeah, because about personal responsibility, if Americans have that kind of, ideas in their minds, I thought, yeah, they can easily accept those situations, even if they get fired suddenly. But you said that depends.
yeah, I think it
Hmm.
depends. But
Okay.
it is fairly common. I mean, it's not like you wouldn't believe it if you got fired.
う
Yeah.
ん。なるほどね。そう、最後に、これを足しておきたいなと思ったのが、アメリカってやっぱ実力社会、会社とかでも実力社会だからこそ、こう、よくもう仕事できなかったらクビにされるとかってよく聞くじゃないですか。日本の外資系でもそれはあるって聞くと思うんですけど、なんかそれも個人の自己責任っていうところになんか関連してるんだろうなと思ったんですよね。まあ、自己責任プラスインディビジュアリティというか、それぞれ、別個に業績を残していく。それができないんだったならばやめてくれっていう。で、それが多分全員にあるからこそ、クビってなった時も、あ、そうだね、仕方ないね。私できなかったから、みたいな感じにもなりやすいのかなとも思って今ここまで会話してたんですけど、まあ、それに対しては人によるっていう回答はありましたけど、そう。で、ライリーの経験談として、そう、みんなアメリカ人は何個か仕事クビになってるんじゃないかなって言ってたくらい、そう、できなかったらやっぱ辞めさせられるっていう。でも日本って、なんかミスがあっても会社がこう、尻拭いとか会社のミスとして捉えられるよねと。あれはないと。そう。まあ、従業員の立場、ね、雇い主の立場、両方の視点でこう見たときに、そう、日本って、やっぱ僕は従業員にすごく優しいなんだろう、国だと思うんですよね。で、世の中一般的に、この会社がああだこうだとかって、ね、よく愚痴を言ったりする人とかも聞くと思うんですけど、いや、日本って結構、いろんなところフォローしてくれてると思うよって、ね、僕は思うこともあるんですけど、でもそれと同時に、そう、なんか、こう、それこそ自己責任とかインディビジュアル、個人っていう感覚じゃないからこそ、この人の目を気にして休めないとか、この人がいるから残業しないといけないとか、それは確かに日本のいけないとこですよね。そこもなんか、一応言ったんだなとも思うんですけど、そう、なんか、こうミスとかあった時にカバーしてくれるっていうのは日本のいいとこだと思うんですよね。 でも、ライリーが言ってたように、アメリカとかだと、誰かがミスしたら、もうその人の責任なので、絶対すぐ辞めさせられるし、というお話が、出てましたね。そう、でもなんか、ある意味、残業とかがないのはそういうところからも来てるんでしょうね。こう、アメリカとかでもう自分の仕事終わったら帰るっていう。それはいいとこですよね。それは羨ましいなと、羨ましいというか、あるべき姿だなと思いますかね。僕も自分の仕事、職場で絶対残業、無理にこうしないといけないとか、そういうの絶対作ってないので、もう終わったら帰っていい。仕事終わったら休んでいいっていう、僕はその派なので、アメリカのその感じがすごい好きだなと思いますかね。あとは何でしたっけ、そう、ライリーのレストランの経験談のお話ですよね。こう、ワインポンってお客様にこぼしちゃって、お客様は怒ってなかったけれども、もうクビになったと。でも自分的にあんま向いてなかった仕事だから仕方がないなと思うっていうお話もありましたかね。そう、なのでこんな感じで、そう、いろんな、自己責任の感覚、何か一個成果が見えるわけじゃないんですけど、それをね、こう、会話形式で対比にさせられたかなって思うんですが、今日のエピソードはい
かがでしたでしょうか？
いかがでしたでしょうか。そう、なんか、yeah, I hope everyone can find a contrast between me and Riley, not me and Riley, Japanese and Riley. Sorry, not Japanese and Riley, but yeah, Japanese and Americans. 対比のさせ方間違えた。そう、僕とライリーのなんか違いとか言うと思って、違うと思って、日本人とライリーの違い、違う、間違えたと思って、なんか比較対象でかすぎると思って違います。そう、アメリカ人と日本人のこの自己責任の感覚っていうのは、会話からちょっと掴んでいただけたらなと思いましたがね。そう、でもなんか、盗む、なくなる、なくならないとか、返す、返さないのお話は、さっきの平和ボケのお話しましたけど、ライリー、do you know the word?We often say 平和ボケ in Japanese.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a good translation in English, but yeah.
Peaceful stupidity or something.
Yeah.
そう、平和ボケ、そう、ライリーもどう訳したいかわかんないって言ってましたけど、なんか、stupidity はバカの名詞形ですけど、なんか、peaceful すぎてバカになっちゃってるみたいな感じで、役目いいのかなって今思いましたけど、そう、平和ボケのこの感覚が、僕はなんかあるのがある意味日本のいいとこだなと思うんですよね。で、この日本の中でも、例えば沖縄に行くともっとその、なんかナンクルナイサーみたいな緩い感じがあるわけじゃないですか。で、僕から見ても沖縄の人っていいなとかって沖縄行くとき思うので、もちろん沖縄にも大変なことたくさんあるのは知ってますけど、なんかこうゆっくりゆったりで平和な感じの空気が今は流れていて、昔は大変なこともね、もちろんありましたけど、なんかいいなって南に行けば行くほどすごい思ったりするのと同じように、世界基準で見たときに、世界に比べて日本ってそういう誰も疑わないっていう空気が流れてるわけじゃないですか。ってなると、なんかすごいこう、いいところでもあるなって思いましたので、そこも大切にしつつ、ね、そこは僕たちの誇りだと思うので、we can proud of this part、と同時に、アメリカとかのその自己責任の感覚っていうのも取り入れられる部分ってあると思うので、そこも確かにいい考えだなって思いましたので、ぜひ参考にしていただけたらなと思います。そう、なんか今例として沖縄って出しちゃいましたけど、そう、沖縄ってね、いろいろこう米軍基地のお話だったり、なんでしょうね、こう、いろいろ、航空、戦闘機がずっと飛んでるとかね、もちろん市民の方にとってはいろいろ大変なことが今でもあるっていうのは分かってます。そこ誤解のありませんように。ただね、誰もがやっぱ沖縄に旅行に行くのってちょっとこうゆったりモードがあるからっていう、今のこの沖縄はね、ちょっとそういうゆったりモードもあったりすることもあるじゃないですか。そういう意味でなんでしょうね、こうゆったりだなって言いましたけれども、いろいろな問題があることは理解してますので、そういう場所を訪れたりも僕しましたので、そこは誤解のありませんように。はい、僕は英語のソータっていう名前で調べていただくと YouTube とか Twitter とか、いろいろ出てきます。Reilly は Reilly Sullivan XC で調べていただくと出てきますので、いろいろチェックしてみてください。Yeah, at some point we can talk about Okinawa. Don't you think this topic is interesting?
Yeah, I don't know very much about it, but I can do my best.
Yeah, like American space or... Yeah,
Sure.
そう、なんかそのトピックも面白いかもなと思いました。日本にいる外国人がどうそれを見てるのかっていうところとかね。またいろいろぜひ話してみましょう。では、また次回のエピソードでお会いしましょう。バイ。
Bye.